Hello, everybody. I wanted to share some exciting updates regarding heat pumps and the programs that I spoke about before. I guess one of the most important updates that I want to share first is guess who figured out how to insert graphics into their video? Anyway, so what I wanted to share today is that the truth about heat pumps, right? Heat pump technology, it's essentially if you're familiar with your furnace and how it heats your house and uses natural gas or propane or sometimes even electricity, right? With heat strips, what a heat pump is essentially. I don't want to make it sound too simplistic, but essentially it's an air conditioner that has an extra feature. So if you install a heat pump with a gas furnace, we call that dual fuel application, you're not actually losing anything. You're just gaining the ability to heat your home with efficient electrical heat, right? So here's the part where transparency comes in, and I want to share what I consider the truth about heat pumps. So, some questions that I want to answer. Um, First of all, are heat pumps less expensive to run than, say, your furnace? Um, the truth is that the heat pumps can be more efficient, which also means they can be less expensive to run if you have the proper setup in your home. So that would go towards, do you have proper insulation? Are your windows newer? Are like vinyl windows? Do they transfer less heat from the inside to the outside? Are you losing energy? For a heat pump to maximize its efficiency and to be the most cost effective, you can't just put a heat pump in. You have to do upgrades to your house as far as insulation, windows, air sealing, just a lot of different things. We call it weatherization. So when you combine a heat pump with all these things, it can be more efficient and more cost effective annually speaking, not during the winter because your bill might go up slightly by running electric heat, but annually speaking, you may see a reduction overall because, like I pointed to earlier, a heat pump actually is an air conditioner with extra features. And one of those extra features is that it's actually a high efficiency air conditioner. So here again, when we want to be fully transparent, when you're thinking about the overall usage of this appliance and you contrast the summer savings, because if you say set your air conditioner at 72 degrees and you get a high efficiency heat pump, which is a high efficiency air conditioner, you may save as much as 30% on your bill. So then you would subtract those savings from your wintertime usage, which your bill may go up a little bit because electricity is more expensive to use per energy unit to heat your house. There's a lot more math into it, and there's balance points that I'll talk about a little bit later. But when you think about the efficiency from the savings in the summer contrasted with the maybe a little bit extra that you're adding in the winter, it may be a wash, but you have to take extra steps to make sure that your whole home efficiency is being considered as far as windows, your entire building envelope, your attic insulation. What is your basement or crawl space? Is it insulated? All of those things they factor into whole home efficiency, which would amount to savings, or the goal being to have the most efficient system possible. So that is the truth about heat pumps. They are a more efficient air conditioner, but the truth is that natural gas is less expensive to heat your house in most scenarios. But if you install a heat pump with the proper weatherization measures and the whole home efficiency measures in, you can actually get it to balance out to where your savings, like if you think of it on an annual usage, your say you may have some savings or you at least may be a wash. And right now, That's a good thing because if you install dual fuel, meaning that you have a gas furnace backup and a high efficiency AC that is also a heat pump, um, when you're talking about the many programs that are available, the first one I want to talk about is the XL Energy program. The XL Energy program will give you substantial rebates. They're changing all the time, but right now they're really substantial, which would basically make your heat pump install with a dual fuel application, your furnace, as much or even less with all incentives combined than a regular install of a furnace and an AC. So right now it just makes sense to do a heat pump to capture the rebates and get a higher efficiency unit. And the good thing is that Xcel Energy doesn't actually have a stringent requirement that you use the heat pump to its thermal balance point. So there are three balance points when you're considering your heat pump, right? That means that at what temperature do you get the heat pump to turn off and the gas heat to turn on if you're installing dual fuel? So you have a comfort balance point, you have a thermal balance point, and you have an economic balance point, right? So the comfort balance point, that's the balance point where you say, like, hey, heat pump heating is a little bit different than gas heat, and will it keep up down to the lowest temperatures? I just want to be comfortable, so let's push it as far as we can. The extra cost that I may incur are okay because it's not that much. Let's go ahead and set it to the comfort balance point, which may be like 5 degrees or 0 degrees Fahrenheit outdoor ambient, right? The thermal balance point is the absolute point where the heat pump can no longer keep up, and depending on the type of heat pump you put in, it may be below zero. And depending on your envelope, you could push it down to, maybe 10 below before your heat pump stops keeping up, right? And then the one that I consider the most important is the economic balance point. That's the balance point for, especially for those folks that they want to take advantage of these programs, but they don't want their monthly bill to go up. What the economic balance point is that you set the heat pump to run only into the point where it's not going to cost you any more money annually than what you're already used to. The goal is to even save money overall, but if we can at least make it a wash so that you're not paying more and you're taking advantage of this new technology that's going to future proof, um, there might be some exciting things in the future, like Excel may have uh, adjusted rates or discounted rates for people who use electric heat. That's the goal in the future. They haven't said anything about it yet, but that might be the goal that they're coming to. So that would make it beneficial to actually install your heat pump. Now, that being said, the simple answer to a pretty tough question is, are heat pumps more cost effective? Is my bill going to go up? The answer is it can. But if you have the proper contractor to help mitigate all the other aspects of weatherization and help you with those things, it shouldn't, because if you have a qualified contractor who's also familiar with energy auditing and air sealing and weatherization, you shouldn't incur extra costs, and then you can take advantage of the rebate programs, right? So, what is a heat pump anyway? A heat pump is just an air conditioner that is has extra features. One of which is a higher efficiency electrical usage, which you can benefit from in the summer, and it also has higher, relatively speaking, it uses it has a greater energy output per unit of electricity towards unit of heat. Sometimes it's 3 to 1, whereas a furnace might be less than one. So when you think about a furnace being 96% efficient, it literally uses 96% of the gas. So that means it's not quite 1 to 1 ratio, whereas a heat pump might have a, a COP, which is the coefficient of performance. It might be 3 to 1, right? So, but because the units of energy, electricity, are more expensive than the units of gas, that's where the math gets tricky. But that's where contractors should be able to help you navigate that. So a heat pump is just an air conditioner with extra features. One of include electric heating in the winter if you so choose. But that being said, I want to talk about all the money that's coming into the state of Colorado and how we can get hopefully get this message out to the community, um, so that they can take advantage of that. The money is not only meant for the workforce; it's also meant for there's a program that Excel has. It's called the Income Qualified Program, where you can sign up, and if you're in a um, I believe it's called DIC, which is disproportionately impacted community. If you reside in one of these communities, you can sign up for their program where they'll help you with weatherization, they will help you with energy auditing, and if you qualify on your income, there's different tiers. The highest tier, you can actually get your entire project paid for, and that would include a new heat pump, furnace, or all electric, and maybe even some insulation, weather sealing, a ton of different things that make your house more comfortable and more efficient, and make your heating more efficient. That'd be tier one. Tier two is like, so maybe you make a little bit more money than the folks in the first tier with your household income, right? You would still get like half of your project paid for, um, which is pretty good still. And then tier three is where, maybe you're doing a little bit better, but you would still get some discounts. You would qualify for rebates still for doing the heat pump, but it's worth taking a look. And if you reach out or check my webpage, I will link all these things where you can see the areas that they're saying are the disproportionately impacted communities. But that doesn't mean that only those communities are eligible. It is an income qualified program. And another cool feature of this program is that if you know someone who lives in a mobile home or a manufactured home, they would almost always automatically qualify for these programs at the highest tier, because one of the focuses is to treat manufactured home, mobile homes, basically, to treat them with the respect and dignity that they deserve. Like, that's a good starting home. I know I have family members in mobile homes, and we do our best to, that's a great starting home, and we're going to do our best to make sure that those are also energy efficient. So if you know anybody who lives in a mobile home, for sure have them reach out to me or look at Excel's income qualified program to see if they can qualify for all the weatherization, a new heat pump, maybe a new furnace. There's a lot of health and safety things that we can help them with too. It's just there's so much money out there. We just need to get the message out, especially in the Spanish speaking community who may not pay attention to these offerings or get word of them as well as some other ones. But Excel's income qualified program, I am part of that. So if you wanted to come to me, I can hook you up with the resources and then hopefully come back to me to do the install. But this isn't about just growing my business. I want to make sure that the community is benefiting from all of these programs. So even if it's not me, just get started today. Start filling out the forms and doing the things that you need to. I'd be glad to help you. And let's see if we can get these programs into the community, right? So that being said, about the Excel program, there's actually another one coming up from the Colorado Energy Office. When I said there was $1 billion, that means that all these different programs have money. So the Colorado Energy Office also has their income qualified program. That program can be stacked with Excel Energy. So um, this may not be 100% accurate, but the preliminary information that I have is there is a form that it's the median income form from the Colorado Energy Office, which basically shows about 150,000 as the threshold for your household income. That means everyone in your house that contributes to the paying members of the household, right? That you're all contributing to the household. 150 grand. If you're at 80% of that, which would be math, but it's like maybe like 120,000, right? Like say you're at 120,000 or below, then you're in the 80th percentile or below. You would actually qualify for that Colorado Energy Office program up to $14,000 in upgrades, and you can stack that with the Excel upgrades. So then you can get $20,000 or $30,000 worth of upgrades, which would cover, insulation, weather sealing, um, a new furnace and a heat pump, maybe an electrical panel, some electrical work, some maybe some health and safety measures. There's just so many different things that you can do with that kind of money. And the part that I like is that they're using contractors that are from the communities, or at least that they're trying to. That's why I have all this information that they've come to me and they said, hey, how can we get this resources into that community? And while they're strategizing on ways to do it through their official channels, I'm trying to beat them to the punch and make videos like this that are maybe raw and maybe a little bit unedited. I try to do it in one take, right? But I just want the community to know that these benefits are coming, and let's start asking questions, making inquiries to find your favorite contractor, find your favorite HVAC guy. Hopefully I'm one in consideration for that, and we'll start getting these applications ready and put in, so when they go live in this month, actually in November, we should be able to get people in line for these programs, and basically bring up our community. And for those of us that own homes or mobile homes and stuff like that, we can make them the best, highest quality environment that we possibly can, right? So I one thing that I'm really passionate about is community. And um, I got to be honest. Like sometimes, personally, on a personal note, I can tell you that when you get to a certain point in your career and you feel like you know, there's this thing called imposter syndrome, right? Like, do I deserve to be here? Like, do I deserve this success that I have? And for me, one of the things that I've really decided that would help me spiritually with that is that for me to feel like I belong and I feel like I deserve to be successful, I have to replicate that success so I can see it in others that look like me. And then I can say, yes, we deserve to be here. So let's share this around and let's see if we can get some of those applications going. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me at support@masonmechanical.com, or you can go directly to Excel's website and start looking at their heat pump qualified programs and stuff like that. But I'm always here and I'm always willing to help. So thank you.